Alrighty then. Welcome to Patriot Uprising with Timothy Shea. Interesting times in which we're living, aren't they? Before we get started, I want to tell everybody, I mentioned last time how excited Laura and I are to have been selected to participate in the first Made in America trade show. You have to meet very stringent FTC requirements in order to say that you are a Made in America company. We meet those, and we are very proud to be participating along with some great companies like 9line and Gordon Brush. This was an amazing story I heard. You're not going to freaking believe this one. Gordon Brush is the gold sponsor for this event. And they're going to be bringing in a half scale, that's 1:2 scale, Abrams tank. There's going to be a freaking half-size Abrams tank rolling through. And you say, well, why an Abrams tank? This is our Pentagon. This is government thinking, okay? This isn't military thinking, but this is government thinking. This is why defense contractors and other service providers and product providers to the federal government are called Beltway bandits. This is why 6 of the top 10 wealthiest counties in America, and this is our number one problem. This is the nation's number one problem. Number one problem isn't homelessness. Number one problem isn't the economy. Number one problem isn't national security. Number one problem is that 6 out of 10 of the wealthiest counties in America are the 6 counties that surround Washington, D.C. That's the problem. All these people sucking on the government teat, almost all of them voting Democrat. So you fire a round out of an Abrams tank, and anybody who's familiar with weapons in the least knows that after every time you go shooting or every time you go hunting, you have to clean out your gun. They sell kits. They sell gun cleaning kits. They sell kits with every size, every handle length brush to clean out a 45, to clean out a 22, to clean out a 12 gauge shotgun, to clean out a 30-06 rifle. You got to keep your weapons clean, because what happens is you get the explosion of the round or the shell, and then the projectile is fired, and you take out the casing, or the casing is automatically ejected. But all that smoke and all that unignited powder, etc., gets in there, and it all gets gunky if you let it build up. That's why you want to keep your rifles clean. That is why one of the things that you learn in basic training is proper maintenance of your weapon. That's why in a military inspection, one of the things they do is look at your weapon, and they look down the barrel to see how clean it is. So you can just imagine all of the unexploded powder, the products of combustion, okay, all the smoke, everything that once the powder is fired, all that smoke, all the debris. Anybody that's ever burned bacon in a kitchen knows that stuff is hard to get off. So it would build up, and eventually the accuracy of the gun would be reduced. So what did they do? It's like the old joke about the guy being so wealthy that when the ashtrays in his Rolls Royce got filled up, they just bought another Rolls Royce. So what would they do? At $150,000 per barrel? That's right. They just swap out the old barrel and put in a new barrel. $150,000 every single time. So what does Gordon Brush do? Gordon Brush says, oh, hell no. And they make a brush for how much? $150. You can get 1,000 of their brushes for the cost of 1 barrel. And so now that's what the Pentagon's doing. And Gordon Brush got a big award for that from the Defense Department. Would you rather spend $150,000 or $150? So Gordon Brush is a great company. They're going to be there. We're excited to be there. Moms for America are going to be there. Women for Trump are going to be there. Big and Rich are going to be there for the opening night kickoff show. It's going to be a great trade show, great conference. There's going to be a lot of good presentations, a lot of good speakers, and we are very excited to be participating. However, the costs have been racking up. They want $900 for an internet connection for the 4 days. There's no point in us going if we can't have internet, right? We got to get people to our website. We got to be able to complete transactions, etc. So that's $900. And because they block out the cell service. Okay, you got to get internet from them or you don't get internet. That's how they work. And let me be very clear. This isn't the people putting on the show. This is the convention center. This is the Indianapolis Convention Center. They wanted $719 to rent a 10 by 10 square of carpet. We said, oh, hell no. We got friends in Indy that are looking for a 10 by 10 square of carpet. If you're in Indy and you've got a 10 by 10 square of carpet, we'd love to borrow it if we could. Worst case scenario, guess how much carpet is to buy? That's right, not $716 per square foot. They wanted $716 per square foot to rent a piece of carpet for 4 days. No, we can buy brand new for $1.50 a square foot. So $150 instead of $716. Or we can buy a remnant, if we can find one big enough, for a lot cheaper than that. So we're trying to think things around, we're trying to do workarounds, but it's still going to cost us quite a bit of money to participate in this show. Accordingly, we talked about what kind of discounts we're going to give to people at the show, because you always give a trade show discount. And we're going to be bringing all our fragrance products, and we're going to be giving a 25% discount. We wanted to offer you the same 25% discount, even if you're not going to the show. Because why should we treat show patrons better than you folks that have been supporting us right from the start? So, from now until the end of the trade show on October 6th, all fragrance products, 25% off. Ladies, if you've had your eye on that Keep America Great tiara and the deplorable mug that we sell only in the basket of deplorables, well, basket of deplorables is now $25 off. It's $75, not $100. The regular fragrances are going to be going for 25% off, which I think is $33.50 or $33.75. So if you're running out of deplorable, if you're running out of deplorable dude, if you want to get some advanced Christmas presents, if you just want to try it and haven't yet, you can go to the site. You don't need to put in a code. It's an automatic discount at checkout. We wanted to make it easy for you, and we wanted to be really fair and to thank you all for supporting us along the way, because we could not have done any of this without you, and we really appreciate all your support. Now, let's get to the meat of the matter. Some people, not you guys, because you guys all know, but all I'm seeing is, it's a two-tier justice system. Nobody's ever going to be held accountable for anything ever. Ever. Ever, they said. Nobody ever speaking in absolutes, reacting emotionally instead of logically. Splodey. Full-on Splodey. Was Inspector General Horowitz obligated to issue a report solely for James Comey, which is highly unusual, given that he has a report coming out on the entire FISA matter in just a couple weeks? It's coming out in September. Next week is September. No, he was not obligated. Is it a big deal that he did? Anybody that's upset with the DOJ declining to prosecute these charges, they didn't say we're not going to prosecute Comey. They didn't say we're not going to prosecute McCabe. Blanket. These charges. We now have a criminal referral from the Department of Justice Inspector General for the Assistant and Acting Director McCabe, and we have a criminal referral for former FBI Director James Comey. criminal referrals. DOJ, wisely I will argue, declined to prosecute based on the charges contained in those referrals. Why? How long did Wolf serve? What length sentence did Wolf serve for leaking out of the Senate Intelligence Committee? 2 months. 2 months. Do you really want McCabe and Comey to spend 2 months in jail? Seriously? You're going to get all upset and lose your minds over Comey not spending 2 months in jail. I want that lanky loser in prison a lot longer than that. And yes, I do want him in an orange jumpsuit that's just a mite too tight in the crotch. And he's all over Twitter today. Cardinal Comey gloating. Now here's a guy who has been called a criminal by the Inspector General of the Department of Justice. He's a criminal, saying that he's been defamed. Well, guess what, Jimbo? As an attorney, you should know this. Truth is an absolute defense to an allegation of defamation. And what an absolute defense means is that it's not qualified. Someone says they're defamed, the person that made the utterance or the published comments say, nope, those are all true. And if you can prove what was said was true, however poorly it reflects on the person alleging defamation, doesn't matter. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. And guess what, James Comey? You are a liar. You are a leaker. Inspector General Horitz's report today identified you as a leaker and gave specific instances of you leaking. So you're both a liar and a leaker. You were not defamed. But let's just take a look at my favorite newspaper of all the newspapers, the paper that has the best headline in the history of headlines back in the early 80s. Headless corpse in topless bar. Best headline ever. Today, James and the Giant Breach. Alluding, of course, to the children's story, James and the Giant Peach. By the way, I'm a little disappointed that people didn't catch my Oscar Wilde allusion when I said Florida is in for a gray day. I was referring, of course, to Oscar Wilde's story, a picture of Dorian Gray. So the New York Post today, James and the Giant Breach. Leaker of the free world. He's a leaker and a liar. And here we see what looks like, you took a 22 to a water tower and he's just leaking all over. Leaking. Leaker of the free world. Comey slapped for spilling FBI secrets to press. And here he is today saying that he was defamed. You weren't defamed, Jimbo. You're a liar and a leaker. Own it. And I do believe that he's not going to be gloating next month. Andy McCabe just got a gig at CNN. I don't think he's going to be too happy. And look, if I'm wrong and nobody does any time whatsoever, I will be honest with you and I will come back and I will say I'm wrong. However, I don't see Bill Barr coming out of retirement, out of federal retirement. He was making serious bank in the private sector, had a cushy life, had already been Attorney General 25 years ago. I don't think he came back for a second helping of grief and aggravation for no reason whatsoever. I believe that Bill Barr is a patriot who was absolutely disgusted by what happened at the Department of Justice under Resident Sotoro Bunel, Resident 44. And I think that he wants to put a cherry on his legacy of great federal service by restoring the reputation of both the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But if I'm wrong, I will own it. But I'm not seeing that I'm wrong so far. This is still early days, because what day is today? Today is the 29th of August. What day is Monday? Labor Day. Do you ever make a big news story before Labor Day? No, nobody's paying attention. Even in an election year, people don't pay attention to the election until after Labor Day generally. So why the year before, why before the Labor Day, before the election, would you want to have your big fireworks display? You don't. How does a fireworks display start? First, there's one tester that goes up just to get the crowd all anticipated. Hey, we're ready to start. There's one firework, one. And then a few minutes later, you get a couple going off, and then it builds, and you get a few more, and then you get a ground display, and then you got boom, 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 boom. But then it settles down again, because that's not the grand finale. Okay, we are a long way from having the justice that we all thirst for. Instant justice isn't realistic. And that's why I'm happy that all of you are staying the course. You believe in President Trump, and you're sticking with him. And I see you fighting it back against these splodey heads today, and it really makes me proud to be your Facebook friend and to know you all, because I've seen some great comments today. Best comment of the day? That would be by Matt Gaetz, because here Cardinal Comey tweets out, all the people that called me names, they called me a liar and a leaker for the last 2 years. Ask yourself, why would you believe people that gave you false information, including the president? And Matt Gaetz came back savagely and said, subject of an ongoing FISA investigation, say what? Can't show you the tweet because I'm locked out of Twitter. I'm not in Twitter jail, but I'm locked out because of a computer problem. But go to Matt Gaetz' Twitter account and you will see that tweet. It is delicioso. You know who else had a delicioso tweet? That would be the Donald. Yesterday, after Kirsten Gillibrand, the most hated New York senator after Senator Schumer, dropped out of the campaign, and he said it's a sad day for the Democrats. Kirsten Gillibrand has dropped out of the presidential primary. I'm glad they never found out that she was the one I was really afraid of. That is like troll level. That is beyond intergalactic. That is like interdimensional troll level. That was just beautiful. And what do we have? We've got Eric, we've got Lawrence O'Donnell, okay? You know, you're talking about why else did Inspector General Horowitz come out with the report on Comey today? What are people that haven't been paying attention learning now? That the former director of FBI, the former top cop in America, is a crook, is a liar, is a leaker, guilty of the same crimes which Hillary Clinton is guilty. Not properly classifying classified information, improperly handling classified information, leaking classified information. Wait a second. Comey did what? They're saying. Lawrence O'Donnell apologized to his audience on MSLSD for getting the story wrong. I didn't lie to you. I just got the story wrong. Eric Trump, like a boss, said, no, Apologies aren't enough. I'm suing you, and I'm suing MSLSD for defamation. Good on you, Eric Trump. I hope you prevail. Please do press that lawsuit. We need to sue all of these people back to the Stone Age. Not out of vengeance, not out of retribution, out of justice. You don't get to use the public airways for 2 years lying to the American public and get away with it. Even Stephanopoulos threw Comey under the bus today. They see the writing on the wall. They realize they took their best shot and they didn't even land a glancing blow. They tried their mightiest and they didn't lay a glove on him. The president is high-stepping into the end zone untouched on the opening kickoff. So, Mueller, how would you like to be? Your Splodey head today? You're upset that Comey's not going to be spending 2 months in jail? How would you like to be a Democrat? 2 years of Russia, Russia, Russia. 2 years of, it's Mueller time! Oh, we got him! Yeah, no. Oh, and by the way, Mueller's senile, so yeah, he probably wasn't the guy to do it. Oh, we're going to impeach. Why else did Inspector General Horowitz come out with his report today? To wake up the normies. And what did he say Comey did? That's right. He violated his employment agreement. Now, why would he mention his employment agreement when, unlike Andy McCabe, Comey's pension was already vested, so whether he was fired or whether he stayed on didn't affect his pension one way or the other. So why would Horowitz mention his employment agreement? Oh, because one of the grounds of impeachment that Humpty Lumpty is coming up with is that the president didn't have the authority to fire Comey. Well, guess what? The president has unilateral authority to fire anyone in the executive branch at any time for any cause or no cause. Just because you're appointed to be Attorney General doesn't mean you're safe from being fired by the president. The checks on that power are the political fallout. You don't want to be going and firing your Attorney General or your FBI director willy-nilly. What today's report shows, for all the people that didn't realize it already, and I know you all did, President Trump not only was well within his authority to fire him, he had grounds to fire him. Comey would have fired any of his subordinates that had done exactly the same thing and would have been completely justified in doing so. So today's IG report cuts Humpty Lumpty off at the knees. So he's gone from, I think, 5'3". We'll say he's got short legs, so he's probably down another 12 inches. So Humpty Lumpty's, stumping around on two bloody stumps today at about 4'3" tall. No grounds for impeachment based on firing Comey. Inspector General Horowitz took that away from Nadler and the Democrats today. So the Democrats have just been getting pummeled this summer. Loss after loss after loss after loss after loss. Guess who else has been losing? The Remainers. Boris, like a beast, leaves the Remainers reeling with masterstroke to close Parliament to push through Brexit. In 5 weeks, by October 1st, the UK has to formalize its exit from the European Union. Boris Johnson today left Remainer plotters reeling after wrong-footing them. That's British speak for getting them off balance by wrong-footing them with his mammoth Brexit masterstroke. The PM had repeatedly played down the possibility of prorogating the Commons, but guess what? That's exactly what he did today. Remain MPs, and Remainers are those that want to stay in the EU, that have been plotting against the citizens of Great Britain, of the United Kingdom, who voted to leave Brexit. 62 days, 21 hours, 33 minutes, 7 seconds. Boris Johnson says we're going to leave. Remain MPs, dubbed the Rabble Alliance, are now left with just 4 days next week to try to derail Brexit and pass a law to stop a no deal on October 31st. Senior sources told The Sun that Number 10's extraordinary move, Number 10 Downing Street, that's the Prime Minister's residence and office, like saying the White House. Senior sources told The Sun that Number 10's extraordinary move was designed to prove to Brussels that Parliament will not be able to stop Britain from leaving in October. They wanted to flush out any opposition now in the hopes of forcing EU leaders into concessions on the Irish backstop. One insider said the Irish backstop is Ireland is in the EU, and they were making noises that if the UK leaves, there won't be any cross-border commerce between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, but that ploy isn't going to succeed. One insider said the EU will never negotiate with us and consider changes to the backstop if they believe Parliament can block a no deal. Now that they know that Parliament cannot block a no deal, the EU will negotiate with us and will consider changes to the backstop, is the implication. As well as having the advantage of sending Remainers into meltdown and putting them on the back foot, who does that sound like? Boris and the president are brothers from different mothers, obviously. This is about showing the EU that they have to come to the table. So the EU thought they could play a waiting game. The EU thought that they could screw the citizens of the United Kingdom. And Boris Johnson came in like a beast and said, yeah, no. Great things have been happening elsewhere. New Jersey, look at the economy, first of all. New York State Fair. Day one last Wednesday. New record. Previous record was set only last year. So the Trump economy, we've had record after record on the first day of the State Fair. Day two was down a little bit from last year's record. Day three set a new record after last year's new record. Day four was down a bit, but day five, so we were down 9,000 on day two, 9,000, 9,400 in day four, but day five was up by 17,700. Day six, new record after last year's record, up another 13,600. Day 7 was up 23,000. Yesterday, we had an absolute deluge all morning long until about noon, and then another one from 3 to 4. It was a lousy day. I thought the attendance was going to be way down. The attendance was 3,000 more. So what this is showing, that as the Trump tax cuts are working their way into the economy, people have more disposable income. People are more optimistic about the economy. They're spending more freely on luxury items and on non-necessities. You know, those of us in Syracuse view going to the fair at least once as a necessity. I used to go multiple times a year, but it truly is discretionary spending, and people are flocking to the fair in droves because the economy is much better. Their job situation is much better than it was under Resident Satoru Bunel's reign of error. Going to leave you tonight with this last story. All my New Jersey peeps, we're going to have to get together. We're going to have all my Northeastern peeps. We should have a road trip and go down to Six Flags in Southern Jersey on the same day, have a meetup at Six Flags, because they've now got Coming, the world's tallest, fastest, and longest single rail roller coaster. It's going to set 3 world records. It's going to be the tallest at 13 stories. It's going to be the fastest at 58 miles an hour. And it's going to be the longest at over 3,000 feet of track. And there it is. That is a whole lot of fun. 4 sleek trains of 12 passengers each, sitting low in inline style, 1 rider per row with their legs straddling either side of the monorail track. So you're sitting in the chair and your feet are on either side of the track and you're going 58 miles an hour from 13 stories in the air over 3,000 feet of dips, twists, turns, and belly flopping exhilaration. 87-degree first drop. That's almost straight down. Raven dive and overbank cutback, which are technical terms in the roller coaster world, meaning a whole lot of fun. 2 dramatic inversions, including a 180-degree stall and 0 gravity roll, where you feel like you're floating. Park said the ride was inspired by the Jersey Devil legend. Legend says the Jersey Devil has haunted the Pine Barrens, which is in southern Jersey, for centuries, soaring stealthily through the woods in the dark of night before attacking its prey. And this is why the New Jersey hockey team in northern New Jersey is called the New Jersey Devils. Modern day folklore even places this beast near the theme park's Great Lake, with its menacing curled horns manifesting under a full moon. The ride will be located along the lakefront near Safari Kids in Congo Rapids. It's going to debut next summer. I think we need to organize a Patriot Uprising road trip. Get everybody to go to Six Flags on the same day next summer. Ride the roller coaster, meet up, have fun. I think it'll be a blast. What say you? That's all I've got for tonight. Want to thank you for playing along. Want to thank you for all the great comments, all the support that I get on Facebook, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on my site, www.patriotuprising.tv. Want to remind you that all fragrances are going to be 25% off on www.deplorablefragrances.com. That's www.deplorablefragrances.com. We wanted to offer you folks the same discount that we're going to be offering attendees in Indy in early October. So until next time, God bless you. God bless these United States. Keep fighting the good fight.